Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Merlin. Last time on Merlin we had Arthur's Bane Part 2. Gwen did not murder the one girl, and they lured in Davos, and then he died. Arthur and Merlin saved all the dudes, all the shirtless men in the mines, and then Morgana was about to kill him for the 8 millionth time, but like always, she decided to drag it out. Then Mordred just stabbed her, and then Mordred is now a knight of Camelot, and Morgana was seen once again walking through the wastelands with Aethusa. That's that. Yeah. Also, there was an alien. It's not an alien, it was the Diamir, but still. There was a freaky-looking Diamir-looking thing, and it was like, yo, Arthur's Bane is himself. Which is the most unhelpful thing you probably could say. And then that's that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction... God, why do I keep doing that? If you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Merlin, you can head down in the description or to the pinned comment. Click on the link there. That will take you over to the reaction, and hopefully there shouldn't be any troubles with watching the reaction. And you can do that and enjoy it, and hopefully enjoy it. And when you're done with that, you can pop back over here for the discussion. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this episode of Merlin. Here we go. Alrighty, that was episode 3. Man, that was something else. You know, at first I was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe it's not him, but maybe I was holding out the vain hope that Uther had changed in death, you know? That maybe he repented and he'd be alright. I was a fool. Man, though, I gotta say, like, with both Uther and Morgana, it's like two of our main characters who we've had since the first episode. And I don't think there's any redeeming the two of them, you know? There is no redeeming the two of them. And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm really okay with that. Like, there's nothing even like, you know, for Uther, like, I don't think you could really redeem him. But if it was something like, oh, well, my time has passed, maybe you're doing something right, or anything, it's like, no, he's not only a dick, he tried to murder people, you know? For what he said was the sake of Camelot. Wow. Wow. Sorry, I'm turning to Owen Wilson for a second. Wow. Ghost. Wow. That was a really, really damn good episode. And man, just so satisfying when Merlin kicks the shit out of him, you know? Like, for everything that Uther has done, you know? Which, that's the thing, you know, you can say a lot about Uther and stuff, but he's never been pegged as the straight-up villain, like in this episode, you know? Like, he's always just been like, well, yeah, he's there, and like he's an evil we kind of have to tolerate until he dies, and Arthur takes over. This time, though, he was just a straight-up villain, and it was terrifying, you know? And I also love the oh shit moment, you know, when Merlin reveals he has magic, and Uther just looks and he's like, fuck, I put you next to my son as his servant, like, shit. You know, it's like, the look of I've royally screwed up was just awesome, you know? Oh my gosh. So, man, oh man. This was a great friggin' episode. Great performances all around. And goddamn is he scary. He is a scary fucking man, you know? Okay. We can go ahead and hop into the notes on this one. The first thing I wrote down is the witch and the horn. So that was pretty cool. Well, first off, it was just interesting that, there was like a freaking witch trial that was going on in this one town. I do like Arthur going in and saving her, though, and being like, hey, did she get a fair trial? We're trying to, be better here. And I like him going in and, using his status as king to save her. Even if she is, a sorceress, like, he wanted there to be a fair trial and stuff, So, I almost wonder if, like, because we've said for a little while, it's like, oh, is this going to be when Merlin is revealed to have magic? I think this is definitely going to be the end of the season because so many things have happened, and a lot of it is highlighted in this episode, like, commoners becoming knights, or a servant girl becoming the queen, or the peace that Arthur has made, like, everything that has happened so far. I think this is all going to culminate in the finale, where Arthur completely unbans sorcery, basically, where he unoutlaws sorcery. I think that's going to be the end of the show, and either that will be because Merlin is outed as a sorcerer, or that will be when Merlin comes out as a sorcerer. So, yeah, that was pretty great. God, this episode was so fucking good. Also, at the end, when they're putting Arthur's putting all his armor on, I'm just going to assume that he's going into a tournament, because that's the thing. We always have a tournament every season. So far, we haven't had a tournament this season, but they either still could, or they were about to go into a tournament at the end there. When clearly Arthur was about to shove his entire hand up Merlin's ass. So, it's not sexual enough, I'm sort of on the fence about any sort of shipping between the two of them. Not because I legitimately want to ship them, but just because it's funny, Like, I honestly find it funny to ship them. Not saying that you should find it funny. If you legitimately ship them, that's great. I don't, I don't legitimately ship them. But anytime I can make some sort of sexual reference about the two of them, it's funny to me. So, I don't know. It's the same thing anytime, one of them takes their shirt off. I'm like, oh my gosh, that body though. I say as a 100% straight man. So, anyway. But yeah, we also had the horn, which was pretty cool. The horn that can open a gateway to the spirit world, which it's kind of dangerous, man. Last time we did that, we got the Daraka, But yeah, so we got that going to the spirit world, which it's pretty cool. Honestly, though, it's like, yeah, we need to friggin' lock this thing away. Like, we cannot use this. Excuse me. Jeez. Like, even when Gaia says, like, oh, even the high priestesses, like, they didn't use this thing that often. It's very dangerous, Oh, man, oh, man. We also had, this is the anniversary of Uther's death, and the anniversary of Arthur's coronation, which is interesting. Because, yeah, it was episode 3 of season 4. Now this is episode 3 of season 5. So that makes a lot of sense. And it's also interesting because, yeah, I kind of forgot, like, oh yeah, a couple anniversaries have passed because it's been 3 years since the last season. So that's pretty cool. They just went to Stonehenge. Like, that was awesome, man. And you have to know that is legitimately Stonehenge that they went to, That was so cool. Like, when he mentioned that, it's like, oh, it's the stones of whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, what? And then it cut to that. I was like, oh, shit. it's Stonehenge. Like, that was so cool. I loved it. And then we got the talk between Arthur and Uther. And, man, I was in denial. I was like, I don't know, maybe no. And it's like, no, he does disapprove of everything that Arthur has done. I do kind of like he tries to, like, let him down softly at first. He's like, oh, well, you would not want me by your side while you were king. And it's like an easy way of letting him down. And then Arthur's like, oh, what do you mean? And Uther's like, well, you're kind of a fuck up in my eyes, and I'm disappointed in you. I'm not proud of you. You knighted commoners, and you married a servant girl, so fuck you. And it's at that point that I'm like, oh man, I don't know, like, for some reason I thought, like, oh, Uther wouldn't be that blunt. It's like, I don't know what I'm smoking. Like, of course he would. Of course he would be that blunt. What, am I crazy? So, that was sad, man. And he got scared. First off, I don't know, like, okay, so it's been a year since we last saw Uther. I don't think, like, it doesn't look like he's gotten that much older, but, like, it doesn't look like he's gotten, like, a lot older, but I have to say, like, I don't know, did they do something to him? Maybe it was the lighting or something. He did look, like, more deathly, you know? So yeah, like, that conversation. And man, I wanted, you want Arthur to hold his ground a bit more. But of course this would mess with him, you know? Stuff like this always messes with him, you know? It's stuff like this, whether it's from Uther or if it was from Agravain last season. Stuff like this, when one of his basically father figures questions, what he's done, he starts to question himself. That's just the thing about Arthur. Hopefully now this is sort of the final nail in, okay, no, I have to keep going with what I'm doing, But it makes sense that this would get to him, Although it's not that, because he didn't, like, go home to Camelot and be like, all right, well, fuck you, knights, and fuck you, Guinevere. It's like, it was none of that, but it did affect him, It did affect him that he's wanted to make his father proud his whole life, and, then his father's like, I'm not fucking proud of you, you ruined everything, So, it did a number on Arthur, definitely. I also I forgot to mention, but when Arthur actually goes to Uther's tomb, that was a great scene where it's just him staring. Now, I have to wonder, for the actual, the lid to the coffin, it has, it has, I don't want to say, carving, but it has, a mold of Uther on it. Did they actually make that? Or, here's my next question, did they paint Anthony Head and have him just lay there motionless, and it's like, oh, well, it looks like it is? Is it like a Weeping Angel situation where it's like, oh, no, they're legit people that are painted to look like stone, and then they're the Weeping Angels, and they just hold still when they're being filmed, Maybe I don't know. I don't know if this show would do that, I almost didn't believe that Doctor Who did that, so I don't know if this show is doing that, but that'd be funny. But yeah. But that was just a great scene with him just staring, and it's just him, and it's nothing else, and he's just staring, and he doesn't change his expression at all, but every single thought that's going through his mind. And then it just cuts away, and that's all you need. That is all you need. It's brilliant. And then we had the haunting, which that was kind of, it's kind of weird thinking about Uther running around and throwing shit at Gwen and the knights and stuff like that. That's kind of weird, but whatever. It's interesting that, okay, it makes sense that he would try to kill Guinevere, Hell, he's tried to kill Guinevere before. So that makes sense. That makes sense, but it's interesting that, he specifically is like, oh, well, you've let commoners be knights, so he goes after the knights. But he only goes after Percival, which is interesting. Only Percival. Now, Leon is a legitimate knight. He was a knight when Uther was king. And Gawain, didn't they say in his original episode that he is from a noble family, but he chooses not to be? So Gawain, he would probably be like, oh, well, yeah, I guess he is a legitimate knight, even if I did fucking banish him, but whatever. So that leaves Percival, since Lancelot's dead. It leaves Percival and Elien. It is interesting that he didn't go after Elien, but he went after Gwen. Like, okay, it makes sense that he went after Gwen, but it's like, he didn't go after Elien whatsoever. It was just Percival, So, it would have been interesting if he went after Mordred, too. It's like, and this fucking guy you just brought in, But, oh well. And I don't know. He could have done sorcery things, so. But yeah, so that was pretty crazy, the haunting. And man, and that scene where he was haunting Gwen, like that, oh god, that scene just kept going. This episode was really good on creating just a chilling, terrifying atmosphere, So that was really good. We had the potion, which was interesting, a potion so that they could actually see Uther. I like that. I actually did like the comedic bit of, Arthur waiting for Merlin to drink it and see if he died beforehand. So I thought that was kind of funny. So, and then yeah, confrontation. We had the confrontation between Uther and Arthur, where this time around Arthur did stand his ground on things, So I did like that. And then we had Merlin versus Uther, which was that was amazing. That had to be so cathartic for him that he actually revealed to Uther that he was a sorcerer. But it's like, who the fuck is he gonna tell? Man's dead. He's not coming back, as long as they get rid of him. And then yeah, I did love that. And I love the the look where he's like, oh shit, I made you my son's servant. Which of course that made me think back to episode 1, where it's like, oh, you saved his life. You will now be his servant. And I remember back then being like, what the fuck? What kind of reward is that? And so that was kind of funny. It's like, man, that was so long ago. They were so young looking, Back when our two boys had just begun their romantic relationship. No. Sorry, God, it's just so funny. It's so fun. And again, if you legitimately ship, was it Merthyr? I guess it's Merthyr. If you ship that, that's great. I have no problem with that. I just love joking about it, Just like I love joking about anytime they took their shirt off. We haven't seen Arthur shirtless in a while. How come? I don't know. I want to see his completely shaved chest sometime soon. So, yeah. He didn't have chest hair like Gawain and Percival and me a little bit. Which I remember in, was that season 2 where I just did that? That was funny. Enough reminiscing about earlier episodes and thinking about Arthur's holy crap, amazing body. Yeah, so it was very cathartic when we had Merlin versus Uther. That was really nice. And just him being like, you fucker. I am a sorcerer, and Arthur is better for having known me. He is more than a king than you ever were. And it's like, oh, that was so amazing. And then, yeah, Uther being like, I will take a special pleasure in killing you. And it's like, oh my god. It's like, no, there is just no redemption. Because here's what I'm thinking of, is anytime we would have more comedic moments with Uther, like back when he was alive, like stuff where it was like, like Beauty and the Beast or something. It's like, we used to have goofy moments with him and stuff, but it's like, no, he was always sort of the villain we kept around, and now He is 100% a villain in this episode, and it is insane. So, yeah, and then he tried to tell Arthur at the end, but he couldn't get it out in time, and he's gone. And now Arthur can hopefully move on and believe in the man that he is, you know, rather than the man his father wanted him to be. So, yeah. This was a really great episode. I really loved it, and I can't wait to see where we're going next time. So with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Merlin reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure to hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.